Hi, everybody. I'm Patty Cobb Baker, Sweet Adeline's International Immediate Past President and proud 38-year member. I hope you experienced a smooth landing into the Golden West of Sweet Adelines, Region 21, or as we lovingly refer to it, Region 20 Wonderful. I'm a 22-year member of this glorious region that covers West Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, and Southern California, and we even have a chapter in Oahu, Hawaii. All of Region 21 welcomes you to this land of beauty and adventure, and some mighty fine barbershop singing. With a region as widespread as Region 21, you'd have to travel at warp speed to see it all. But never fear, it's all here in Galaxy West, the latest stop on your Travel in Tune tour. Now don't forget, there are more amazing regions to visit, so be sure to follow along via the Travel in Tune webpage or the mobile app for your next exciting destination. But first, it's time to launch you into Galaxy West. Hold on. 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff.
Musical excellence, the final goal. These are just some of the voyages of our resident stars. Their lifelong mission is to master vocal energy and unit sound, to seek out 4 individuals with the same goal, and to find a costume that looks good on all. Go with us now to chart your path among the Quartet stars.
Okay, well, I'm just going to do the top level so we can get to the questions. But Bonnie McKibben, actually one is Bonnie Sherburne with Panache, Pammy. Love you, Pammy. We won it. We won in 1990. That was the year that Sweet Adelines decided to change the name to Harmony International. So when we got our medals, it had been scraped off, which was kind of strange, but they gave us new medals with Sweet Adeline on it. But we won in 1990. That was when they still had 3 sessions. You had quarterfinals, semifinals, and finals. And we had a great hit that week. It was lovely. Everything was perfect. And we roomed down the way from some of the Scottsdale people, and Bev Sellers came and greeted us at our room. We just had a great time. It was wonderful. That's who I am. That's my queendom.
Well, everything Bonnie said. I'm Pam Pison. I was the lead of Panache 1990 champs, and my mom brought me into Sweet Adelines, and I never thought I'd be a singer. I mean, not a singer, but a Sweet Adeline. I said I wasn't going to sing barbershop because I didn't like it growing up. And now look at me, this many years later. Now I'm a director too. So there you go. That's it in a nutshell.
Patty Cobb Baker, member since 1983, started quartetting in 1988. 87. Competed for the first time in 87 in a quartet. So if that gives anybody any hope, I became a queen in 2012. It took me that long. A long time. Tenor of Touche. I think I counted that before I won with Touche, I had competed on the international stage 19 times in quartets. So to answer the question, perseverance. That's what you need. And then decided to do it again for some crazy reason. And in 2019, won with Viva, also singing tenor, singing with the same lead from Touche. And we are now stuck as the 2020 queens.
I can think of worse things.
Hope to give the next crown away as soon as we can. Not that we don't love being queens, but this is getting ridiculous.
This is the crown I bought myself. Oh no, it can't sit there. Anyway,
Beautiful.
my name is Kim Vaughn. Thank you. Isn't it pretty?
Yes.
Each of my crowns, I believe I won with different last names. It probably makes it a little bit different. The first time I won was in 1976 with High Society. We had only been to one other international before that, so we went from fourth to first, but we had exceptionally good coaching. I just want you to know that when you sit around Joni Bescos for any real length of time, you're gonna get good at things, because that's what she did. And then the second time was 12 years later in 1988, and that was with Savvy. Connie Noble, who had been the replacement tenor for High Society, was in that quartet with me. And Sandy Trombley, Sandy Himes now, who is still around, but doesn't sing any longer. And the bass was a really, really fun person named Tippy Sanders that we all loved. She was crazy and had a wonderful sense of humor, and unfortunately died of cancer just under 2 years after we won. So that took care of that quartet. Gosh, it's nice to see you guys. I'm looking at all these faces and going, yes, hi. And then the last time was 12 years later again with Cappella Gold. I, by the way, did not figure out that it was 12 years between each one. Some math person did that. And the only reason that it actually worked out was because during one of those times in between, there was the organization shifted years, and they gave it the title of the year you're going into rather than the title of the year you actually won in. So anyway, it is every 12 years. And that was Cappella Gold. That was the most fun I think I've ever had on stage, because once again, if you sing with crazy people, it helps. Anyway, that was Cappella Gold. 2001, I think it was. What else? My life is such an open book. I can't imagine there's anything you don't know, except for new people who are going, what?
We have questions, though. We have
Yeah.
questions for you all.
Okay.
So the first question that we have pre-submitted is, how do you know if you will gel on a personal level with the quartet, and what is required? Oh, and is that required to be successful?
It will matter. Yes, it will matter.
Absolutely.
Eventually it will matter. The little things that bug you at the beginning become big things because everything becomes more intense. At the same time, let me say that it's not a bad thing to open up your heart and your brain and say, oh, come on, just how big a deal is this? I always went in with a list of questions of things that I wanted to know from them, and with a list of comments that I thought they should know about me, like how much of a priority is the quartet in your life? And what are things that you think we should know about it? I was the only one, when High Society got together, I was the only one who had a small child. And that made a difference. Everybody had been in like 12 and 15 years, and I had been in 2, and I had a child, and there were a lot of things I didn't know. So it was like, for them, I think it was like raising me, bringing me all through. But yeah, I think it matters. I just don't think that you should make that decision right away. I just don't think you should don't sign anything for a while.
Don't buy matching socks.
Yeah, leave the socks alone for a while until you really, really feel strongly one way or the other about it.
How about you, Pam?
Well, yes, I completely agree that it does matter, and Kim's exactly right that little things that bother you magnify over time. And I think that if I'm speaking frankly, and I think you all want us to speak frankly, that did become an issue in Panache. We started out with 2 other people. The original members were Sally Briner as baritone, and I was the lead. Jeannie Versilla was the bass, and Karen Proctor was the tenor. And I did not really know any of them very well. They were all Region 11 members. So I had met Sally. She had just won in 1984, and I met her, and the two of us just fell in love with each other immediately. And you know, like Kim said, I mean, she had her quartet that kind of raised her. I think Sally kind of raised me. She helped raise Bonnie. I think she helped raise you too, Kim, along the
Tony?
way. You know, she was just always somebody
Wow.
that everybody could talk to.
Mhm.
And so we started out our first year, and we went in 1988 when Kim won in with Savvy and Houston. And that was our first year Panache. We came in ninth. And after we came home, our bass, Jeannie Versillo, who is a lovely, lovely person, and I just adore her, she decided that it was just too much and she needed to be at home. And so she decided to back out of the quartet. And so that's when Bonnie joined us. And then we went through the year, and we went to Miami in 1989, and we went from ninth to third. And we came home, and there were some personality issues brewing at that time. And when we came home, then it became a bigger issue. So the tenor ended up leaving, and then, you know, we did a tenor search, and we Patty actually flew out from Texas and sang with us, and we had a couple of other people, but Patty wasn't ready to relocate yet. She and Jeff were still working things out. So
I was stupid.
yeah, that would have been an interesting thing to see how that would have worked out, because she definitely was a musical fit with us, that's for sure. So anyway, you know, then Jerry was coaching us. She and Nick were coaching us, and we she just said, I don't want you guys to not go to contest in Salt Lake City, and you know, if you can't find anybody, I could get my tenor chops back in shape and come in and fill in with you. And so she came over to Bonnie's house and sang with us, and she walked out the door, and the three of us kind of looked at each other like, wow, was that like was that like as good as we thought it was? We listened to our little cassette recorders, and yeah, and she had to drive all the way from El Segundo by the Los Angeles airport to Diamond Bar, which was a long drive, and we could hardly wait for her to get home so we could call. And we called, and she still wasn't home, and Nick answered the phone, and he was of course ready to pee his pants because he couldn't wait for her to walk through the door. So anyway, but then when that personnel change happened, just everything just went like this, and it was a perfect marriage. Not that we didn't have, you know, things come up, but you know, we really didn't have any personality problems after that. It was a pretty magical quartet. So, and we went on our third try. So Patty, how long did it take you? I'm sorry. I'm kidding.
Well, once I got in the right quartets, it took me 2 times. I mean, I was
I
second
know.
to first on both of them.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally agree that you have to gel. You absolutely have to, and on so many different things. You know, on work ethic, on goals,
Mhm.
on it's even whether your families get along, and because you use the word marriage. It is like a marriage. I tell you, if when you're going to work that hard and that in general for long lengths of time with quartets, you have to get along. And like Pam said, it's not that you don't fight, and it's not that you don't maybe disagree on things, but you learn to compromise and you learn what hills to die on. If
Right.
Yeah.
and
Don't you think, Patty? Oh, I'm sorry, Patty. I thought you were
no,
done.
go ahead. I was just
No,
filling
I
in.
was just going to say, don't you think it's a sisterhood
Yeah,
that you and all sisterhoods have issues, but everybody puts the quartet first. As long as the quartet becomes the first thing rather than me, whatever I want becomes the
Yeah.
first thing. As long
correct.
as the
Right.
quartet stays in that first position, you work through everything
Right.
because the
I think
quartet
having the same, I think having the same goal in mind is hugely important,
you
hugely
bet.
important. Um, because that drives everything else.
Well, since you brought up the word goals, I'm going to skip to the last question that I have on this list. How as a quartet do you decide on your goals? I mean, I know I think when I first started singing with Panache, I mean, they were obviously on a trajectory, but I mean, my goal was to, well, first of all, be able to sing bass well enough to to not fall on my face on the international stage. But I wanted to, I did want to win, and I wanted Panache to win. And there was also this little selfish part of me, since my husband had just won. Oh yeah, I wanted to win. But my goal was always to try to be the foundation of the quartet and help the quartet get to the goal of winning. It was awesome fun.
I think you know what you want from a quartet. I think everybody knows what they want when they get in a quartet. Share that information with the other three people.
You bet.
That's what's important. Because if you want to get what you want, you need to let the other ones know and you need to see if you're on the same page about it. Don't waste your time with or three other people's time if all you want to do is get together once a week and sing some songs and have fun and sing, within the community. If the other three want to win regional, just don't do it. You know, you're wasting your own time and their time. Get on the same page about what you want to do. And it's amazing what you can accomplish when you all work towards the same goal.
Absolutely. And one of the other things is, if you don't have your goals stated clearly, then it might be turned into one of those quartets that learns their music at the table with each other instead of learning their music at home and then just
That's
getting
right.
together to polish. And the
Yeah.
quartets that get together to polish, those are the quartets that tend to get these instead of learning their music at the table. So
Oh,
that's
the
that's a
work ethic
very
is the next
big,
biggest thing.
important,
Yeah.
big, important thing.
So
Okay,
let
so
me
we
tell
kind of
you guys, somebody asked me, I mean, I've been asked many, many times over the years, how long does it take to win a crown or da 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 da. And I have often said this same answer, and so I want to say it again. And that is, it is unusual. It is unusual for four people who have never competed before to go all the way together to a crown. Usually what happens is we get into our first quartet, we learn, everybody learns. Okay, then we say, okay, that's as far as this one goes, and everybody goes their different directions. And now there's four more, or three more, or two more quartets getting better somewhere else. And so you build it by experience, by the people you've done. Each quartet you've been in, you've learned something else about how to get there faster. So I believe every quartet goes through exactly the same steps, just as if you're a brand new people. It's just that if you've been through them before, you go through faster
Yeah.
because you know what to do and you know how fast to do. I mean, if you've done it before, then you go through it quickly. And if you don't go through it quickly, now you're frustrated.
you don't make the same mistakes.
That's right. Hopefully.
What were you
So
going to say,
it
Pam?
moves
Oh, I'm
faster,
sorry.
but you'll notice, you guys, at the international level, these are not babies. It is very unusual for that to happen.
And even the young ones who win have been doing it a long time.
Yep.
They've been in the Young Women in Harmony program. They've been singing, like, look at Love Notes. They started singing together at the age of 12 or 13. Same with Growing Girls. This is not an easy sport. You have to learn it and you have to learn to do it
Yeah,
well.
it's true.
Yeah.
Why don't we take one of the questions that you've received?
Okay. For Savvy was Bev Sellers. And our coach for Cappella Gold was, first it was Bill and Carolyn Butler. And then Carolyn died and Bill just lost his passion for it. And so we went to Joni after that. But the first one, even in high society, was our chorus director, was Marv Yerke, who was very, very good with us. And then he said, yeah, I can't take you as far as I think you need to go. And he's the one that handed us off to Joni. I didn't know any of those people, by the way. Bill and Carolyn also worked with high society. We just sort of went back and forth through there. Remember, Southern California has this plethora of coaches, of really, really great coaches. And everybody was so willing to say, well, yeah, sure, we'll help. Brian, nope. Brian, who did all the comedy stuff from Metropolis.
Oh, Philbin.
Brian
Oh,
Philbin is also one of the people who coached Cappella Gold. He has great timing, has great feel for comedy and all that. And he did very well with us. We really liked working with him. That was fun. High society blended instantly. There's no question about that. Savvy had 3 or 4 iterations before we finally got to the one that said, okay, there it is. And fortunately, one of the things that I really like about working at that level is that when something's not right, people tend to look inward and say, I think maybe it's me. And they're really good about saying, if it's, let me just move out of this for a minute. Let you try somebody else. Sandy Trombley, for instance, had been the baritone, the original baritone of Cappella Gold, but she was having all sorts of voice issues. Turns out she had fibromyalgia. She was literally losing her voice. Couldn't get her health to back up and do it anymore. She finally just said, I really don't think I can do this. And on a Friday night at like 9 o'clock, we picked up the phone and called Tommy McAvoy and said, okay, you're only about 20 minutes away. You want to come over and try out with us? And she fixed the blending issues in Cappella Gold. Susan and I never, ever, we still don't have a nice match between us. But as soon as you put Tommy between us, it was great. She had that voice that fixed it. That's why Tommy stood in the middle. It's because she's the one who fixed it between Susan and I. And I didn't want either one of us to have to change our voices, Susan and I, but Tommy fixed it. So.
You, Tommy?
Yeah.
What were you going to say, Pam?
I was going to say, I think that we had the original Panache had a nice blend together. But, I was the rookie in the quartet. I hadn't been singing in Sweet Adelines for very long. And as a kid, my musical background was just singing in choir at school from whenever they, started that, I don't know, 3rd grade or something. I was singing and, but I was always an alto. So when I came into Sweet Adelines, which was like, I think it was about 1982. Wasn't it, Patty? Wasn't I? I was just before you. Yeah. So I started singing in a small chorus and, I didn't really even sing solo stuff until I was almost in my senior year of high school. I just was a background singer. I never had a solo. I never did anything. The only reason I ever sang a solo when I was in high school was a friend of mine who played classical guitar, and we would sit out on the senior lawn and he would play his guitar and somehow I sang something. Janice Ian was really popular when I was in high school. And so I learned a song of hers and sang it in a talent show because Dave Davis talked me into it. He said, you really should like do this. You're good. You really should do this. I was like, oh, I don't think so. And I was so shy. I mean, I can't tell you how shy I was, really, and introverted. And so when I came into Sweet Adelines and started singing, of course, I went to lead because baritone scared the heck out of me. I didn't know how much it was like alto, but it really is, but just kind of, it's in the same range, Patty. Yes,
Yeah,
it
but
is.
the notes go weird places.
Well,
Yeah,
I
they
know,
do.
but it's still harmony if you can
Yes,
sing
it
harmony.
is. Yes.
So, but my problem was I was not using my mixed register very well. So I'm singing in this new quartet with 3 very experienced people who had, international and regional championships, a lot of them. And Sally was a queen of harmony. But they decided that I was kind of worth the effort to, like put the work in with me. But Joni was our coach, and Joni was very wise. And as we went along after the first international, and then after Miami, Joni coaching me, and I'm telling you, I can't tell you how many times I sang in the evening as I sit alone, and she'd say, no, no, and she'd make me do it again. I just wanted to cry. I was so frustrated because I didn't know what I was doing wrong. Finally, after we came back from Miami, she said to me, I can tell you how to do this, but I can't just I can't demonstrate it for you. So she said, I think you need to talk to Kim. So I don't remember what your name was at the last name was at the
Yeah,
time.
who knows?
She doesn't either.
But,
That's
but
true.
we were at a men's district contest, and Joni said, I think you should get some time with Kim. So I asked Kim, and we went into Lloyd Steinkamp's hotel room and borrowed his room. And Kim talked to me about mixing registers and gave me some exercises, and the light bulb just went on. So I think that made it a lot easier for the whole quartet when I figured that part out, because I wasn't singing with multiple voices. So if anybody has ever said, you're singing with, 2 different voices when you're upper and lower register or whatever, you have a gear that has to flip, your voice needs to stay consistent, especially in the leads. And then after that, I went, after Panache won, I did go and sing baritone in a quartet, and we were the mic testers at International one year, but that was a whole other story. I didn't really want to do that either, but I did, and I actually love singing baritone. So there you go. That's my
Fun.
story.
You're
Yeah.
hard.
It's fun.
Yeah, hard.
What do you / have you done if someone isn't comfortable with a costume choice?
Ha!
How can they make a choice without 4 people? Oh, well, no, now
Oh
I
my
actually have a
gosh.
story about that.
Mm-hmm.
Line in the hospital after my brain surgery, and the other 3 come to visit me, and they say, hey, we got a new dress. Okay. It was the green dress. You all know the green dress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you hated it, Bonnie.
Oh, I hated it.
It was a terrible costume decision.
Horrible. It was one of those places where you go into the dress shop and there's no dressing room, and you stand against the wall and the curtain comes out around you, and the little person comes in and they basically strip you naked and then measure every point on your body and make the dress specific to your body.
Yep.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Of course, after
Great
having surgery
dress.
and lying in bed for 6 weeks, my frame was a little smaller than it is now, so I can't wear it anymore. But hey, those were the days.
Well, Bonnie, I do have one story about somebody in the quartet, because I kind of got to be the person that chose the clothes, because
Yeah, but
I was
you did great.
tallest. Yeah, well, this was before you though.
Oh, good.
So, but Joni was coaching us. Thank God Joni was coaching us, and Joni could say whatever Joni wanted to say. Because, like I said, I was the new person, and I would have probably gone along with whatever they said. But somebody actually wanted to do a 50 set for the
Oh.
final and put me in a poodle skirt and saddle Oxfords.
Yeah, no.
I know who that was.
Yes, you
Yeah,
do.
and Joni said,
gonna
I
happen."
don't see Pam in a poodle skirt and saddle Oxfords.
Oh, no, well, not really.
So, yeah, you have to come to a consensus on what everybody's comfortable with, because
But I'll say this, I sang in a quartet once, and it was not one of the ones that won, where there was a costume, and I did not care for it. But we were in a kind of precarious position emotionally. There was a person, and they wanted it. And so I just decided that I didn't want to send that person over the edge. And I wore it because, again, that wasn't the hill I was going to die on. It was clothing, you know. So you pick your battles. Pick your battles. And sometimes not everybody is going to love everything that you wear. But if you've got, for example, in Touche, we had Gina, who's like 5'2" or something, very small, short, and she's like a total hourglass. You've got the pair here with no boobs. You've got Kim with boobs and very straight up and down, no hips. And then Jan, Jan's a little parish as well, but kind of still a little different. And you're not going to find one dress that's going to look great on all those different body shapes, right? You buy clothes per your body shape in general. So you work it, and you try to find something that everybody likes, at least one thing, so that everybody can feel pretty at least once in a while with what you're wearing. But you try to find things that blend, or you allow each other to pick things in the same color scheme, and you wear different things, but in the same, a la Fanatics, a la Moxie Ladies, a la Harbor Lights in the green. There's a lot you can do to make it work. So again, I never thought that clothes were going to be anything that I would die on, unless it just really made me look hideous, and then I was going to put my foot down.
That's kind of like that too. As long as you didn't make me look ugly, I was pretty much okay with it. I was always the short one, though. I was the short round one. So everybody always had to, they'd put it on me and it would be dragging on the floor. And I'd say, I don't think this is going to do.
I think we argue more over shoes than dresses. How high a heel? Should we have a heel? Oh my God, that hurts my feet. I mean, I think we argue more over shoes than the actual clothes themselves.
Well, and the prettier the shoe, the more the pain level went up.
Well,
oh God,
exactly.
yes.
Right?
Your tolerance for it, yeah.
Somebody brings in these absolutely stunning shoes, and just looking at them, they are going to hurt.
Yeah.
Yep, they're going to hurt. But sometimes you just do it anyway.
Even for 6 minutes.
Yep. Yep. You do anything for 6 minutes. Then we get entertainment packages, and now you're looking at them going, let's see, 15 minutes. Can I do this? Maybe not.
But so well, how do you think this went over when I'm in a quartet in Viva, and we decide we're going to wear two costumes, one on top of the other?
Oh, yeah.
So we were putting those clothes on, getting ready to go on stage, and back in the hotel room, and we all just kind of looked at each other and said, who thought this was a good idea? Two costumes, wear one, and then tear one off on stage.
Yeah. It was a great look, though. It worked.
It worked.
I think that's the biggest thing is, did it, if it worked.
Yeah.
I remember when I was singing with in Affinity, we were having rehearsal at my house, and we were going to go shopping. It was like in Saturday afternoon, we were going to go shopping, and Dale had set out in the garage all these pieces of a shed that he wanted to build. That's what he was doing while we were going to go shopping. And Lori walked out into the garage and saw what Dale was doing and turned to the other three of us and said, I will wear anything if you don't make me go. If you let me stay here and work with Dale, and I'll help Dale put the shed together, and I won't do anything. I promise I'll be good about just buy it. And we said, deal. One
Sounds
less
good to me.
person to have an opinion about what we were wearing, you bet. So
Yeah.
she built the shed with Dale, and we went shopping.
That's great. Yeah, Bonnie and Jerry didn't really like to shop. Sally and I did the shopping,
Yeah.
but we were the two that had the most trouble wearing clothes, because Sally was real short-waisted and short, and I was the tall one, and Bonnie and Jerry could wear anything. They looked
And
great.
that's kind of the way I think it does tend to work out.
Yeah.
In Viva, it's Peggy, the tallest, and Gina love to shop, and they are also the hardest to fit.
Yeah.
So
You know,
yeah,
Pam had such a knack for dressing the quartet. There was only one costume that I didn't like, and it was the gold one, because it looked
Because the colors, Sally
looked
Sally and
awful on
Bonnie
Sally and I
hated
with her
it.
white hair, you know.
Yeah.
No matter what,
Yeah.
no matter
Jerry
what
and I
we
looked
wore.
great in it, though. We
Always.
were good in gold.
Thanks a lot. But Pam always dressed us really well. And she always accessorized everything. So one time we were going to International, and I had a car come to pick me up to take me to the airport. And I brought my luggage out, and it kept coming out, and it kept coming out. And the guy looks and he goes, geez, what is all this? And I pointed to a trunk. I said, well, those are the shoes.
Yep.
And that's, we'd have 2-3 costume changes a day, but we always were dressed to the nines. So
Yep.
I don't know if I ever thanked you for that, Pam, but you
Oh,
really made us look good, except for the
thank you.
Field of Flowers pants,
I didn't pick those. Jerry did.
Oh, well, no, never should have let her pick that.
I know.
Or flowers all over our legs and butts.
Yeah.
Good.
So can you hear what happens with quartets in the conversation? Here we do. The thing that saved Cappella Gold was that Susan was a wonderful seamstress. And so
that's right.
she made almost everything we wore.
Wow.
So everything was a custom fit to it, and that was great.
Well, we did end up starting to do that in Viva. So the finals dress that we wore both times were handmade to us.
It makes a difference.
I was just going to say, Kim, that, we just still, all we have to do is go, chirp, chirp. And everybody laughs because everybody knows that Susan story. So, oh my gosh, that was the greatest bit.
It was so natural for her.
Yeah.
She's pretty much out of her mind. So it works beautifully. It really does. There's not much Susan wouldn't do.
No.
To get a laugh. There's not much Susan wouldn't do to get a laugh. And of course, that puts the rest of us into it. Susan's also the only person I've ever sung with. Let's say, I want to back this up a minute. When I joined Sweet Adelines, we were all tuning to the lead. Everybody tuned to the lead. Whatever the lead did, didn't matter. Even if we lost a bunch of pitch, didn't make any difference. Everybody had to tune to the lead, do whatever the lead was going to do. Okay, about 15 years later, it changed to everybody tuning to the bass, because the bass had the root and the fifth of almost every chord. And that's when Pythagorean tuning started coming up. Now, all of a sudden, we're all thinking about where am I on the chord? We do that for another decade or so until it finally occurs to us that perhaps we should tune to the key.
What?
Perhaps we should tune to the key. And now, see, why did I start to tell you that? Oh, Susan, because once we went to that, Susan absolutely will not lose pitch. Will not lose pitch. And so it makes no difference who you are or how many crowns you have. Too bad for you. Too bad. So sad. You start losing pitch. She's not going.
We sang with her in Voca.
Yeah.
With her little keyboard.
Yep, I'm telling you, she wasn't going. So
Yeah.
all of a sudden you are absolutely responsible for staying where you're supposed to stay. 'Cause
So
she
you went back to tuning to the bass again,
all of a sudden, or at least
Yeah.
that bass.
that bass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I learned a lot about that. Learned a
That's
lot
why
about
you
my
should always
cello.
tune to the tenor, because tenors.
Oh my God.
Oh,
Only a
get
tenor would
get
say
a grip,
that.
Patty. Yeah. So another question that's come up is how technology has changed, and boy hasn't it. I mean, when Panache was, well, I mean, good grief, Kim, did you guys even have telephones back then? Just kidding.
You are such a smart
I
ass.
know, but I mean,
We
really, we had
actually used reel-to-reel
reel
tapes,
to
you
reel,
guys. We
exactly
used
right.
reel-to-reel tapes with High Society because it was the only way, it was the best sound you could get. And we would spend a lot of time listening to it. And then we would stand up and we would work on a section we didn't like about it. And then we'd play it again and then do it again. It was very time consuming and very important. It was really, really important work. A lot of it because of the education that it gave all of us. We got so much out of listening to it. I think that's why judging felt comfortable to me when I decided finally to try judging, was because we had done that so often and we were very critical of it. And one of the important things about that is that we were never critical about the person who did it. It was always about the music.
Yeah.
It's always about the quartet or the music and all that. It never was personal. It was never Kim, you need to do, and it needs to, and then Kim, you're still doing, and then it was never like that. Not in any of them. Not in any of them. And I think that's one of the things that makes you successful is that you stay focused on the music. You stay focused on the music. If you join a quartet to make money, you're in big, big trouble
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that'll never happen. It's all very nice, to get some money at the end of the year, but it's usually a shock more than anything else. And what it's paying you back for is like
Exactly
dry
right.
cleaning and gas and
Mhm.
babysitters and
Oh yeah.
I mean, you never really earned
It's
anything.
the hobby
No.
paid for itself.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's what we really wanted.
Yeah.
Is if it would
And
pay
it
for
did.
itself. That was a great financial goal.
Well, and that's why all of us say this right here is the most expensive piece of jewelry we own.
You bet.
That and
Mhm.
judging pin.
Yep. It
And
really
so
is.
we've gone from reel to reel, and I used to have a little portable that would sit on the car seat next to me.
Yep.
Talk about distracted driving.
Yep. Done that too.
And now we just Bluetooth from your phone to the car speakers. I mean, holy cannoli, things have so changed. And I'm so thrilled that, unfortunately we've had this horrific COVID year, but choruses are smarter from a technology standpoint. Quartets are smarter
Yep.
from a technology standpoint.
Mhm.
So,
Yep.
I guess that's the silver lining in this is that we're all, well, I think Adelina would beg to differ that I'm not any smarter technologically, but Adelina, how
That's
do
okay.
I?
You're the director. You don't have to be.
Yeah, Tammy, can you
Right.
fix this? Yeah,
Well, before there was Zoom, before COVID, Viva used Skype. We would Skype and rehearse choreo for our final sets. So when we did this stupid drumstick thing that I don't know whose great idea that was, we would, because you couldn't sing together really, but you could rehearse your choreo, and we went through like the finals package via Skype at the time. Like, where do I stand, and what's the staging on this, and what's the transition, and da, 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 da. We worked a lot of that stuff out, and we did a lot of business via
oh yeah,
a phone
Oh, yeah.
conference or something, so we wouldn't have to waste time during rehearsal when we were finally together on that stuff, so that we could just sing when we were together. So, but we were generally only getting together, like once a month or once every 5-6 weeks. We weren't doing every week, but technology huge when you're working on the other thing, just being able to get a recording of your lead when you're learning a new song, singing the interp, and then being able to practice that. And now just send it electronically. You've got it. You don't have to be there in person recording her singing it. She can ship it to you. Her
Well,
interp.
the electronics are better. The speakers are better. The
Quality.
You know, the mics are better and all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So it's still not perfect. I mean, you know, it's still sound, and sound has a life of its own, but it's so much better. It's so
Right.
much better.
Yeah, technology, and now, you know, I was supposed to coach my first coach of a quartet. Yeah, Tracy, I was gonna coach solo voce on Jamulus, because they do rehearse on Jamulus. We haven't tried that yet, Vivo. I really wanted to see how it worked, because I was good. And then I had no power. That was
Oh, yeah, right.
what happened on the day that I lost power from the ice storm. So I didn't get to do that. But, you know, I know they're rehearsing via Jamulus, and I imagine many others are as well. And Jack Tripp is another one that's supposed to be really, really good. So there are ways. Thank you, Tracy. I want to do it. You know, to do it now, we couldn't have ever, I mean, back in 1976, we could never dreamed of being able to do
Oh,
No.
no.
this,
No,
sing together while we're in different parts of the world. So it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, and it really does. It's you know, Solo Voce is they're lucky to have Tracy, because she knows all that tech stuff. She can handle it. You know, you get my quartet. Viva's like, who's gonna do that? I don't do no Jamulus. I mean, I don't do technology. So, you know, you have to go get help. Do that. Get help, because you should use it. Use the technology that's out there.
Absolutely. What would be your one bit of advice to somebody that wants to get in a quartet and win a crown? What would be your one bit of advice?
Okay, I'll start.
okay.
Be the best singer you can be. Work on you. Be the best singer you can be. Because when you're good, you'll
People
find
wanna
other
sing with you.
you'll find other good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
About you, Pammy?
Yeah, I agree. I think that the best piece of advice I can give you is when you are being coached, you know, as Patty said, be the best singer you can be, but also you have to leave your ego at the door when it comes to coaching. So you have to be willing to, you know, look in the mirror and say, okay, I need to do this, or I need to do that. You know, don't automatically think it's someone else's job to fix something. We all have to contribute to that. So
To the improvement, yeah.
Mhm.
Kim?
Yeah.
Kim?
I think going on with what they just said, because both of those things they just said, that's absolutely right. I would say, adding on to that, remember that it really is about the music, and
Mhm.
that if you put yourself before the music, it's always going to be a mistake. It always has to be about the music first, not about you. You know, and that's one of those things. I think that's why people get nervous, is because they're so concerned what people think about them instead of about the music. If you always put the music first, always say what is best for the music. It's just like one of the hardest things about being a chorus director is that the decision must always be what's best for the chorus, not what's
Yep.
easiest for you.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and
that's
that may sound a little esoteric, but she is so right. I mean, that really comes first in a way. It kind of drives why you even want to sing in the first place.
yeah.
It's to make that music come alive in a way. But I believe that when you put the music first, it helps to get the ego out, like Pam was talking about, and it helps you learn what you have to do to be the best singer that you can be too.
And
So
then
I
that
really
makes,
do think that
so
comes.
it's all four parts vocal production then is the same. It's the same approach. It's the same step
Absolutely.
up to it. So it just,
Mhm.
that's it.
But there was one other. It would be that same thing, stick to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Don't give up. If you
Yeah.
really want it, do whatever it takes to do it. That's
Exactly.
legal
Yeah, right.
and nice,
And healthy.
and healthy,
Yeah.
right?
And
All those things.
yeah.
Go for it. Believe that
Another
you can
part
do
of
it.
that though, Pam, is that, not Pam, Patty, is that I don't believe quartets were meant to be together forever. When a quartet's time has come, then its time has come. And it's important to leave it as friends and remember
Yeah,
the love of it
absolutely.
rather than let it get too personal or angry or any of those things. And I think anybody has the right to leave a quartet with love. You know, when it's time for them, for whatever their reasons, people have the right to do that without anybody pressuring them into some other thing.
That's right.
You know, you have the right to do that.
That goes back to you really have to have a lot of respect for one another. And again, when just like in a marriage, when you come into a quartet, everybody has certain needs
Mhm.
that they're looking to kind of meet, to get met through that relationship, that quartet relationship. And again, it helps to kind of explore that together as a group. What is your need, Patty? Well, my need is really to learn and to grow as a singer. What is your need? Well, my need is to perform. I really need to be on the stage, and et cetera, et cetera. My need is to heal from some bad thing that happened to me. Whatever it is, put it out there, and then each one of you work to help each other meet those needs. If you feel that you can't meet somebody else's need, again, it may not be the right fit for you.
Or
But
them.
exactly. So love each other, stick to it. But the my very first quartet was ending when my very, 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 very first one that I was ever in. And I was so sad. It was because somebody was moving, had to move away. And the person who got me involved in barbershop, um, uh, um, um, guy in Spebs back then, he said, and had been a long time quartetter himself, he said, the only sure thing about about quartetting and about being in a quartet is that one day it will end. He said that is the only sure thing
And that
about it.
seems, and I think that's a good place for us to end. But I would like
Yeah.
to say a great big thank you to the RMT people that are on today for bringing this together and allowing us to
Yay.
just talk, chat as friends and talk about some of our like experiences.
This was
Yeah,
too much fun.
right.